Well, my name is Robert Healy. I'm a Marie Curie Fellow, jointly affiliated with UCC and the University of Toronto. So I'm taking part in an international outgoing fellowship that's aimed really at giving early stage researchers a platform from which to advance their research ideas and also experience working in other institutes outside of their home institute, either within Europe or further afield. I work in both air quality and climate research. So my research has focused on studying atmospheric aerosols, which have impacts upon our local and regional air quality, but can also impact global climate. So the research that I'm involved in is focused on measuring black carbon particles in ambient air. These particles are essentially soot, and they can be generated through the incomplete combustion of either fossil fuels or naturally occurring biomass. So there's kind of man-made sources, but also naturally occurring sources like wildfires, forest fires, and understanding the impacts of these particles on our local air quality and also on global climate is an interesting topic at the moment. The most recent work we've done has been on the climate side. So we ran a field study in Toronto last year, aimed at using a lot of different aerosol instrumentation to kind of probe the chemistry of ambient black carbon particles, but also their optical properties. So specifically, we're interested in looking at the relationship between the shape and size of black carbon and how that impacts the lifetime of those particles in the atmosphere, but also how they interact with solar radiation. And so we were particularly interested at looking at coated black carbon particles. So those are like small aggregates of soot that have been in the atmosphere for a couple of days, to see if they have a capacity to absorb more solar radiation and have a more enhanced warming effect than, say, fresh soot from a poorly tuned diesel vehicle, for example. And we found that this lensing effect that's included in a lot of climate models is likely to be overestimated based on our data, because we don't see any appreciable enhancement factor for coated soot relative to fresh soot. But we do observe some interesting properties for the coating materials that are on these particles. So we found that wildfire particles that were transported from Quebec to Ontario, they contain a lot of brown organic material around the black carbon core. And it turns out that this material can absorb shorter wavelength radiation itself, so it can have a warming impact on regional and global climate. Before taking on this fellowship, we had done a lot of air quality measurement campaigns around Europe with the CRAC lab through UCC. As part of this postdoc, the main field study was based in Toronto, so at Greg Evans' Southern Ontario Centre for Atmospheric Aerosol Research at the University of Toronto, where he has a range of instrumentation, including aerosol mass spectrometers, photoacoustic instruments to measure climate impacts. And also I took part in a field campaign with Environment Canada in the Alberta oil sands in 2013, just to look at the impact of different aerosol sources associated with the oil sands activities. The Marie Curie International Outgoing Fellowships are really designed to give early stage researchers I guess a new perspective by taking them out of their home institute and exposing them to research communities either within Europe or in institutes in North America or Asia. Really, there's a lot of options and a lot of creative freedom as well, which is an important aspect, I think. So it's up to the candidate to write their own research proposal. It's an opportunity to pursue research ideas that resonate with you personally. So it's a great impetus to really think about how you should approach research for the rest of your career. I mean, some of the advantages include having access to world-class facilities, the opportunity to grow your network internationally and collaborate with institutes that you may never otherwise have come across. So as part of this fellowship, we've initiated collaborations with the University of Illinois, Carleton College in Minnesota, and also Fudan University in Shanghai. And just being exposed to those networks through North American conferences was really beneficial, I think, for my own career development. And I think the fellowship offers those advantages to all early stage researchers. So it's an attractive prospect for anyone who's a grad student right now.